Hi, my name is Holly Cochran, and I am a student here at MUW. What I want to talk to you about today is a certain type of stigma. One of the largest stigmas in society today is against those who are HIV positive and or have AIDS. Much of this comes from a stigma against those who are most often infected, men who have sex with men, sex workers, or people who inject drugs, and also from a general misunderstanding of how it is contracted. And honestly, we've all witnessed this growing up. Like, people would always make jokes, even myself probably at some point, about somebody probably having AIDS, or someone seeing someone that they perceived as a gay guy and being like, oh, he probably has AIDS, let's stay away from him. Or someone who has like a legitimate fear of using public restrooms because they're afraid that they'll get AIDS from it somehow. And I feel like a lot of misinformed people have ideas like this. And honestly, in the modern age, it's ridiculous to still hold these beliefs if you're an adult who knows how to research things. And also, many think that you can basically contract AIDS by sitting on public toilet seats or even being near someone with it. Like, if someone sneezes on you, you're afraid that you'll get AIDS. People honestly think this. And many also falsely believe that HIV and AIDS are the same thing. HIV, human immunodeficiency virus, is a virus, and AIDS, acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, is a disease caused by HIV. Not everyone who has HIV has AIDS, but everyone who has AIDS has HIV. HIV is basically a late stage of AIDS, is basically a late stage of HIV. And it can cause you to have a much weaker immune system than the general population. And I got this information from the San Francisco AIDS Foundation. The only way that a person can contract HIV is through direct contact with blood, semen, vaginal fluids, or breast milk. And even with breast milk, there's a very low risk of transmitting it through that, but it still is a risk. So it is worth mentioning. And when on HIV medication, a person's viral load can be made undetectable after about 16 to 24 weeks of treatment. And I also got this information from the San Francisco AIDS Foundation. So, with all of this taken into consideration, it is easy to see how the stigma against those who are HIV positive or living with AIDS is first an overreaction and second largely prejudicial. And honestly, it's homophobic, straightforward, and it's prejudicial against people who inject drugs and against sex workers. And that's not to say that every person in this group has HIV or AIDS. It's just that, statistically speaking, they contract it most often, so the prejudices are linked in that way. And the stigma is so strong that 35 countries have restrictions against HIV positive people entering the country. And I got this statistic from avert.org. And the FDA will not allow men who have ever had sex with other men to donate blood. This fact is honestly ridiculous. Blood donation services automatically screen for diseases such as HIV in the blood that they collect, and wanting to completely exclude a whole community of people when so many people desperately need the blood is outrageous, and it should be outrageous to everyone. So, I urge you, if you have any sort of bias against HIV positive people and those living with AIDS, to consider the things I have said, in addition to doing your own research, and realize that honestly, it doesn't make sense. I also urge you to be an ally to the HIV/AIDS community and spread positive information, spread factual information about how to protect against it or how to treat it and things of that nature. And just don't be a terrible person. Don't be prejudicial towards these groups of people that I have mentioned. Just honestly, be a good person. Thank you.